A live look at the White House, where the flag is flying at half-staff this morning in memory of the lives lost there at that Minneapolis Catholic school following Wednesday's shooting. We, of course, will be talking about that throughout the day. Right now, though, we do want to get you a quick check of the national forecast from our friends over at the Weather Nation.
Thanks, Terrence. We're tracking a couple of cold fronts as we head into this last unofficial weekend of summer. A lot of 70s and 80s on the board today. New York City 75, Chicago 75, Dallas still in the 90s, however, along with Houston. But we are tracking a cold front digging through the southern plains that will help to drop some of those temperatures. Areas like Little Rock and Wichita already down 15 to 20 degrees compared to average. Some severe storms are going to be possible out towards Colorado, the Red River Valley of Texas into Oklahoma today. Those threats will stick around the Front Range tomorrow, while they also drop towards the Gulf Coast, where we could be seeing some heavy rainfall and severe storms as we follow these two frontal systems getting closer to Thursday evening and Friday morning. It's still going to be watching some heavy showers out there across the Northeast and down towards the southern Gulf. But by the time we get to Saturday, the cooler reinforcing air arrives in areas like New York, Chicago, even Dallas, down to 85 degrees. And one last thing to watch as we head into this long Labor Day weekend, we have a new area in the Atlantic to monitor. Back to you.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's send things over to David Brody. David, good morning.
Good morning, Terrence. Appreciate it. All right, Rav's own Ben Bergquam recently had the chance to tag along on an ICE operation in San Antonio. Take a look at this.
So out here with ICE ERO, about to hit a criminal warrant. We've got the Bearcat lined up.
And as I said before, right, executed, no injuries, no issues, no scandals. Flashbang.
The director, so the first house, successful operation so far. Looks like we've got several individuals.
Wowzer. For more, let's bring in Rav correspondent and the host of Law and Border. That would be, of course, Ben Bergquam joining us live from San Antonio. Ben, my goodness, you're right in the thick of it. Tell us your impressions. Give it. Wow. Great stuff, sir.
Yeah. We just finished that operation yesterday morning. It was targeted for one criminal felon illegal in that house. We went in with the Bearcat, and the SWAT team entered with flashbangs to distract them, and we ended up pulling out 5 illegals, actually 6 total, 1 minor, 5 others, including the suspect, as well as 2 others that had felony criminal warrants. So a very successful day, but it just shows you this is one house in one city across America. And just tying back to everything we've been talking about this morning, you know, while the Democrats for 4 years were focused on allowing an invasion into our country, on basically increasing the number of mentally ill, transgender, all of that, coddling that mind mental illness, that, you know, right down the street from where we are is Uvalde. We were allowing our country to be invaded. And so you think about the dichotomy of what the Democrats promoted, what they prioritized, rather than protecting our kids, rather than protecting our communities, rather than securing our border. They did the exact opposite. And now this administration, President Trump, Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, all of these ICE agents are having to go back in and take care of these really bad guys that are here, on top of all the other issues that we have as a nation.
Yeah. You know, the liberals love to make a big deal about masked ICE agents, masked agents. I was trying to see in that video, were some of them masked? Were some of them not masked? And where do they stand on that? Like, are they just like, give me a break on that type of stuff? What's the deal?
Yeah, some of them are, some of them aren't. We blur their faces for their own protection. Some of them, this is ongoing investigations. Now, typically, we don't blur the illegals' faces, but in this case, there was one minor that came out of the house, and the other is the main suspect in this criminal warrant, and so we don't want to screw up the investigation. But as far as the agents go, the reason that some of them cover their faces is because these same leftist activists that invited the invasion into our country, that are out there protesting and rioting across our cities, are doxing them and their families and threatening them and their families. And so these guys they're American heroes that go out every single day, put their lives on the line. They don't know if they go into that house if they're going to be shot at. They don't know if they're going to go home to their families. But one thing they do want to make sure is when they do go home to their families, they don't have some deranged transgender lunatic there to shoot and kill their families. And that's what we have going on right now. We have the left who is taking their photos, who is taking their identities and is doxing them, sending it out to the world, trying to threaten them, trying to get them attacked. So some of them choose to cover their faces. God bless them. And anyone who decides to attack ICE, to go after them, to dox them, should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah. Hey, Ben, not that we want to reveal sources and methods for ICE to the whole world and any of that, but I am curious as to exactly how they kind of go about and pinpoint some of these folks. Like, where's the cooperation? Is that just local law enforcement that they're getting help with, or is it more than that?
Great question. Yeah, great question. In particular, the difference between what we see here in San Antonio and some of my rides in D.C. and in Chicago and New York, those sanctuary cities, it's so hard to get intel because there's a lack of cooperation. Here in Texas, the cooperation runs all the way down to municipal levels. The only city, there's a couple cities that are quasi-sanctuary, Austin and Houston, but the cooperation between law enforcement and ICE across the state is really unmatched other than Florida. So that when you go for a ride with these guys, when you're talking about intel, the reason actually this guy had a felony warrant that we went after was because Texas DPS, he had already been deported 3 times. Texas DPS found him. He ran from Texas DPS. They got in touch with ICE. There was a joint investigation. The operation yesterday was a joint operation. You had Texas DPS, you had local law enforcement, and ICE, ERO, and HSI working on the case. So it is that cooperation between all these branches. We've seen that across America. That's the big difference between President Trump's approach, Tom Homan's approach, is this all-of-government approach where you have local, state, and federal, all the partners. You got FBI, DEA, all of the federal partners that are working together to go after this problem. And that's the only way. When I interviewed the director here in San Antonio, that was his answer. He said, the only way we're going to solve this problem, it's such a huge mountain to climb, is with all of our partners working together. And that only works in non-sanctuary jurisdictions. That's why it's so critical that we start prosecuting some of these sanctuary jurisdictions that are hindering the efforts of ICE to do their jobs.
Yeah, wow, for sure. Hey, Ben, thanks for bringing the truth to our audience. CNN will not be calling you, just an FYI, but I don't think that. I think you knew that. I think
My phone's on, guys. My phone's on. I'm happy to come on and spread the truth over there, too, if they ever want it.
Ben Bergquam's open invitation to CNN. You heard it here first. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
Hey,
be well,
thanks,
my
David.
friend. All right, the smiling patriot, as I like to call him. Coming up, could headphones soon be a thing of the past? A new development could soon make that a reality. We have those details next on American Sunrise.